The ochre dust swirled around Captain Nadia Petrova's boots as she surveyed the desolate Martian landscape. A year ago, this had been a bustling scientific outpost, the first human colony on the Red Planet. Now, the mangled remains of habitats and rovers sat like broken toys, a testament to a brutal alien attack. Nadia gripped the worn photo in her pocket. Her family, smiling back from a sun-drenched Earth. They were the reason she volunteered for the Martian colonization project, a chance to build a new future for humanity beyond a dying Earth. Now, she was the sole survivor, a lone defender in a hostile world. A guttural screech echoed across the dusty plains. Nadia whipped around, her eyes scanning for the source. There, emerging from a canyon mouth, a hulking insectoid creature stalked towards her. Its carapace glinted in the harsh Martian sunlight, mandibles clicking with predatory hunger. These were the Thrax, an alien race that had erupted from an uncharted wormhole just 6 months prior. They had carved a path of destruction across the solar system, with Earth now being a silent tomb. Nadia wasn't about to go down without a fight. She raised her plasma rifle, the familiar weight, a comfort in the vast wasteland. The Thrax charged, mandibles snapping, ignoring her warning shots. With a deep breath, Nadia squeezed the trigger. A searing beam of plasma ripped through the alien's thorax, sending it staggering back. But she knew this was just the beginning. The Thrax were relentless, their numbers overwhelming. She needed to get to the Olympus Mons research facility, the last bastion of human hope on Mars. Rumors swirled of a secret weapon being developed there, humanity's last stand. The journey was a grueling trek across the unforgiving landscape. Nadia scavenged supplies from wrecked rovers, her resolve hardening with every passing hour. She wasn't just fighting for herself. She was fighting for humanity, for the dream of a future amongst the stars. Days blurred into nights. Nadia fought off Thrax patrols, using her agility and knowledge of the terrain to her advantage. One night, huddled in a half-buried habitat, she picked up a faint distress signal. It was weak, but originating from the direction of Olympus Mons. Hope surged in her chest. She wasn't alone. Following the signal, Nadia discovered a hidden bunker complex. Inside, a small group of scientists, led by the wiry Dr. Sato, huddled around a flickering monitor. Relief washed over her. There were survivors. "Captain Petrova!" Dr. Sato exclaimed, his eyes wide. "We heard some rumors. Thought you were a Thrax trick." Nadia explained her ordeal. Dr. Sato led her to the heart of the bunker, a makeshift lab filled with whirring machines and blinking displays. A holographic projection flickered to life, revealing a colossal weapon nestled deep within the dormant Olympus Mons volcano. "Project Ares," Dr. Sato explained, his voice trembling with excitement. "A sonic pulse cannon capable of disrupting the Thrax nervous system. A Hail Mary, but our only hope." But activating the weapon required venturing deep into the volcano, a suicide mission considering the Thrax activity in the area. Nadia volunteered without hesitation. "Someone has to," she said, her voice firm. "For Earth, for humanity." The descent into the volcano was a perilous journey. Molten lava pools bubbled ominously, and the air grew thick with sulfurous fumes. Nadia fought off Thrax drones that swarmed from the darkness, their metallic bodies glinting with an eerie red light. Finally, she reached the weapon's control center, a cavernous chamber humming with raw energy. Sweat soaked her spacesuit as she wrestled with the complex controls, adrenaline coursing through her veins. With trembling hands, Nadia flipped the final activation switch. It clicked into place with a sense of terrible finality. Below her boots, the chamber floor vibrated, the hum of raw energy intensifying into a strained groan. She glanced at the monitor, her heart sinking. Diagnostic readouts flashed red warnings. The weapon was unstable, and the strain on the volcanic power grid was far greater than predicted. "Petrova!" Sato's voice crackled over the comms, laced with panic. "Readings are critical! Ares is overloading!" "I know," Nadia snapped back. The Thrax would be upon them any minute. "There's no time to adjust." A blinding flash erupted from the volcano's peak, followed by a seismic shockwave that threw Nadia off her feet. But it wasn't the clean burst of the sonic pulse. Olympus Mons, dormant for millennia, was venting magma and ash in a spectacular explosive eruption. "Oh God, I've triggered a full eruption," Nadia shouted into the comms. "Evacuate!" Sato's command cut through the chaos as the bunker shook violently. Nadia raced through twisting corridors, dodging falling debris and hot, acrid fumes. With each step, she knew time was running out. If Ares didn't work, the eruption would obliterate not just them, but any hope of ever reclaiming Mars. Above, the once red sky turned black. Ash choked the atmosphere. Lightning crackled around the volcano's belching peak. Nadia burst out onto the surface, the scene resembling a fiery apocalypse. The first wave of the Thrax, disoriented by the eruption but not mortally wounded, surged towards her, drawn to the source of this new devastation. Her rifle spat defiance, downing a few, but they kept coming. Reaching the bunker's entrance, Nadia braced herself. She should be fleeing, saving herself, but the image of her family swam into focus. "For humanity," she whispered, steeling herself. The Thrax swarmed the bunker doors. She squeezed the trigger, knowing each shot was delaying the inevitable. It happened in a chaotic flash. An insectoid form smashed through the crumbling doorway, mandibles outstretched. There was a deafening screech, a spray of alien blood, and then darkness. Nadia awoke with a gasp, her head ringing. Smoke and the acrid odor of burnt Thrax filled the air. Somehow, miraculously, she was still alive. The bunker lay in ruins, partially buried under volcanic debris, but the ground was littered with Thrax corpses, their exoskeletons twisted and fused. Something had happened, a blast of raw energy, unlike anything she'd witnessed before. A groan drew her attention. Dr. Sato lay pinned beneath a fallen beam, his leg twisted at an unnatural angle. "Petrova, what happened?" he rasped. Nadia shook her head, disoriented. "I'm not sure. Maybe I did something." The true horror dawned on them both. Project Ares hadn't been a weapon. It had been a trigger, unleashing chaotic, uncontrolled power. And somewhere within Nadia, tied to her adrenaline-fueled survival instincts, it seemed she held the key to this terrifying force. They emerged from the wreckage into a changed Mars. The eruption was subsiding, leaving an altered landscape. The Thrax were gone, vaporized. Nadia stared up at the scarred sky, wondering if she had brought salvation or a new kind of destruction to this desolate world. Dr. Sato's recovery was slow, but steady. Using salvaged tech and Nadia's first-hand descriptions of the incident, he pieced together a disturbing hypothesis. The eruption, combined with her extreme stress response, had somehow tapped into a latent energy manipulation ability within Nadia. Fear and fascination warred within him. This wasn't human potential as they knew it. It bordered on the superhuman. With a shiver, Dr. Sato realized it could rewrite not only the Martian battlefront, but the power dynamics of humanity as a whole. "We have to keep this quiet," he insisted, though his eyes held a nervous spark. "Earth Command will want you back, for study. Perhaps worse." Nadia wasn't naive. She'd felt the terrifying rush of raw power, and the aftermath, the smoking Thrax bodies, felt wrong. "I don't want to be a weapon," she said quietly, staring at her scarred hands. Sato nodded. They were scientists at heart, not soldiers. Yet they were also the last survivors on Mars, a planet vital for humanity's future. A chilling thought occurred to him. Their survival depended on Nadia's terrifying ability and their willingness to conceal its true nature. Word arrived, garbled transmissions from a damaged satellite network, but enough. Earth wasn't merely silent. It was gone. The Thrax had struck with brutal efficiency, leaving Earth a devastated husk. Mars wasn't just their responsibility now. It was the last refuge, a flickering candle in the cosmic darkness. Nadia trained in secret, pushing her limits under Sato's watchful eye. The power was unpredictable, surging and fading with her emotions. Sometimes she could redirect the volcanic vents, carving new paths for lava flows, creating makeshift shelters. Other times, the power flickered out of reach, leaving her frustrated and terrified of failing the desperate colonists they slowly began to gather. News of a savior spread amongst survivors, a human who could control the very ground they walked on. It brought fear, yes, but also a desperate hope. Nadia's show of force became less about fighting the Thrax directly and more about manipulating Mars itself, forging a haven against the planet's harshness. Dr. Sato grew grimmer. The whispered name for Nadia, first uttered in awe, became a loaded word. Witch. Colonists looked to Nadia for protection, but also as a potential threat. This wasn't the future they'd envisioned for Mars. It was a world built on fear, mirroring the worst tendencies humanity had brought to the stars. One night, staring at the desolate landscape, Nadia turned to Sato. This power, it's corrupted this place, just like it's corrupting me. Sato had no answers, only the grim determination common to all survivors. But it was a tired determination now, a weight rather than a fire. The next Thrax attack wasn't a swarm, but a single, colossal creature. Their desperate outpost stood no chance. Nadia faced it alone, feeling not power, but a bone-deep weariness. The creature lunged and she did the unexpected. She didn't fight back. Instead, she reached deep, for a power not of destruction, but of connection. The world seemed to hold its breath. The Thrax screeched in confusion, its charge slowing. Nadia felt something brush against her mind, alien and vast. The volcanic ground beneath the creature cracked, swallowing it, not with destructive force, but with a simple shift, a redirection of the dormant energy sleeping under their feet. And then the Thrax was gone, buried deep. Exhausted, Nadia stumbled back to the stunned colonists. She wasn't their witch anymore. She was simply tired, older than her years. "We can't stay," she told the colonists, her voice carrying the hollow echo of a leader who'd seen too much. "Mars, this was humanity's second chance and we've spoiled it already." Sato, ever the pragmatist, agreed without argument. In the silence that followed, the echo of Project Ares seemed to rumble deep below, a warning they couldn't, or perhaps didn't want to, ignore any longer. Sato's scientific mind, honed by disaster, sprang into action. They repurposed the salvaged Ares technology, not as a weapon, but as a crude navigational beacon. It flickered out into the void, a desperate signal amidst the cosmic silence. The waiting was the hardest part. Doubts gnawed at Nadia. Was she leading them to their doom or towards genuine salvation? Then, an answer. A faint signal pulsed back, irregular but decipherable. It originated from beyond the asteroid belt, a rogue moonlet with promising scans for an atmosphere and liquid water. The exodus was somber. They left Mars a scarred, ruined monument to their hubris. Nadia stayed behind last, feeling the dormant volcanic energy hum beneath her feet. A silent goodbye to a power she would never wield again. The journey was fraught, but in orbit around a distant, untouched world, Nadia felt something she hadn't in years, a cautious flicker of hope. This world wasn't a chance for conquest, but cohabitation. They would start anew, wiser, humbler, forever changed by their time on the Red Planet.